Basketball Association has postponed the semi-finals of the Goddard Enterprises Limited knockout competition, pending a disciplinary hearing for this week's controversial men's match between Coverley Medical Center Deacons and Cormier. That match was blown off in the fourth set as players and coaches had a heated exchange of words on the court after a rally. Now, both teams have already qualified for the semis, but the BVA now has to make a decision on the game, as the outcome will determine how the semifinals are matched up. Well, Cormier's troubles continued last night as they lost their final round-robin match to Gourmet Express Progressive by default, as they could not field a starting six. The juniors also had problems of their own, failing to qualify for the semis after losing to Foundation United. CBC's Anne-Marie Burke reports on that game.
Captain Andre Stapleton out injured and setter Paul Doughty in the must-win encounter with Foundation United, and they started well in effecting winning plays. But Foundation United had different plans. Jonathan Allen with the ace. The Foundation side proved effective at the net as well, Michael Knight blocking Atiba Best. It was a competitive encounter. Both teams were fighting through, but Foundation took the upper hand to claim the first set at 25-16. Into the second, the juniors started to come into their own a little more. Best again with the spike beating the double block. But Foundation was not about to let this game go out of their favor. Knight sets and Captain Matthew Marshall finishes the play. Too hot for the juniors. But call it sweet revenge, as the juniors will also show their spiking skills. This set was a battle royale. But Foundation meant business, and when Adam Niles posted up for the spike, Knight was right there in his face, blocked. Niles was determined to see his play through, and with the very next ball, he went backcourt. This time, Ali just couldn't control it. But Foundation, intent on being victorious on the night, would take the second set at 25-22. Another of those masterful blocks. Juniors really need to fight back in the third. So could they do it, or would Foundation make it a straight sets win? Maybe that was a discussion in the stands. We'll see how that goes. Foundation immediately enforcing their killer play of the night, the block at the net. Sorry, Best. He'll get it right though, down through backcourt. But Foundation were about to seal the deal on a victory. Libero Thomas Atkins saves the play. Knight sets, Ramon Blaze come from outside to spike. So set and game point. Niles with the serve, but it's out of court. Foundation United take the final set at 25-23, and juniors kiss a place in the semi-final playoffs goodbye. Anne-Marie Burke, CBC Sports.
Now, given the postponement of the knockout playoffs, the BVA has decided to start the league competition in the meantime. The West Indies will get their Dhaka Bank Cup Test Series against Bangladesh underway tomorrow with Game 1 at Arnisvale in St. Vincent.
The last time the Windies faced Bangladesh in a Test Series in the Caribbean was back in 2009, and the visitors came out on top of a second-string unit during one of the darker hours in the history of the regional game. While they will be looking for revenge, the Test rankings suggest the Windies should win the series. However, there is the pressure that if they do not win, they will drop some all-important ratings points. Having said this, the Bangladeshis aren't even playing to win. Their coach has said the team's aim is to draw the matches. Windies skipper Dinesh Ramdin will be eager to get a series sweep under his belt and should be brimming with confidence based on his form in the just concluded one-day series. Shivnarine Chanderpaul is 6th in the world batting rankings, and once again will be looking for a couple centuries along with a hungry Darren Bravo. Now this could be the series that Barbadian Craig Brathwaite pretty much cements his place in the side after a good showing against New Zealand a couple of months ago. Now Bangladesh will be without the experienced all-rounder Shakib Al Hassan, but will be looking towards Tamim Iqbal, Mushfiqur Rahim and Nasir Hussain to do the bulk of the scoring. To win a test, you must take 20 wickets, and the West Indies may just play 5 bowlers in a 3-pronged pace attack of Kemar Roach, Jason Holder and Jerome Taylor, along with spinners Suleiman Ben and Shane Shillingford. It will be interesting to see how effective Shillingford will be without the use of his changed delivery. 5 bowlers may put some pressure on the batting lineup, but it could also force those bowlers to show more application with the bat, and this would be beneficial to the team in the long run. The pitch at Arnottsville is normally low and slow, and the spinners usually dominate. The Windies should win the first test, but they must challenge themselves to do so convincingly.
Well, live coverage will begin around 10 a.m. and will be on CBC TV 8 and Radio 94.7 FM. In a few weeks' time, you will know the two lucky Barbadians who will get to compete against the very best race car drivers in the world. Two local drivers will represent Barbados at the season-ending Race of Champions International Motorsport event, which will be held at the Bushy Park Racing Circuit in December. This will be the first time in 11 years that this prestigious event, which attracts the best of Formula One and NASCAR, is going to be held outside of a major international stadium. The fact that there is a Bajan team is also historic, as founder and CEO of the event, Frederick Johnson, explains.
It's going to be 2 days of entertainment, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, finishing at 4 in the evening. And we're bringing together some of the world's best drivers, as Petra said, from all the different championships, Formula One, World Rallying, Le Mans, Indy Cars, and NASCAR X Games. And on the first day, on the Saturday, they team up 2 and 2 to compete for their countries. And this year, we've actually agreed, together with Mark and Petra, that Barbados is going to have a team as well. So 2 of the best drivers from Barbados are going to get a chance to compete against the best in the world, from Germany, from France, from the US, etc. So it'll be a real challenge for them. The selection process will be announced in the coming weeks, but it'll be an exciting thing, I think, for the local drivers to have a true benchmark and compete against the best in the world on identical cars, because that's the big thing with Race of Champions. In every heat, there are 2 identical cars, and it's only driver skill that makes the difference. On the Sunday, and then it's each man for himself, and it's all about finding out who is truly the best driver on the day. Nobody can say, hey, he had a better car, or I had a problem with my car. It's all about driver skill and competing man-to-man, head-to-head, and in the end, after the group stage, the quarterfinals, semifinals, and final, you got the champion of champions.
Well, although Bushy Park was recently renovated, co-founder of the Race of Champions, Michelle Mouton, says additional modifications will be necessary in order for Barbados to successfully host the event.
For Race of Champions, we need 2 parallel track with a bridge, crossing the bridge. So for that reason, we will make some modification. Sorry, Mark, but I think it will look great afterwards. For that, we have been, spending 2.5 days already here. We have found solution, and now we have to design a proper plan and see, and then we will test the track to have a very parallel track and where the car will be very close together. And I think we have found a good solution for that. So I hope you will enjoy that.
And the man in charge of Bushy Park, Mark Maloney, says there are even more renovations in the works.
We now have a lot of work to do. Getting ready for the first event that we had for Top Gear in May was a challenge. This is now another challenge because we're building a track within our track. We have a lot of other amenities that we have to get ready. We want to get bleachers finished. We're going to be building, you can see from the vantage point here, we're going to be taking down the clubhouse and building a clubhouse and a VIP. We have additional buildings to do in the pits and other infrastructure work. So we have a significant amount of work that we have to get done for the event. But we're really looking forward to it, and what better than to have the best event in the world at the end of the year.
Race of Champions will be held on December 13th and 14th. The Americans have won their first round group at the Basketball World Cup in Spain.